interviewed declined to give their full names. One said she's afraid of internet haters. But content creator Samuel Wilson says at the courthouse, the influencers are generally able to put all the drama and differing opinions aside.
We are like family now. We all came here for one goal, to cover this. We all talk, we all interact, we all go eat.
Wilson considers himself a Combs supporter.
When I park my car, that's the last music I'm playing there, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Sean Combs.
What are some of your favorite songs?
Oh, man. All by the Benjamins.
Wilson came all the way from Las Vegas for the trial. And now he's planning to stay. He says there's more excitement to record here.
You can go Times Square. You can go anywhere in the city. There's something going on.
Wilson says he told his parents he'll come home and visit. But for now, he's planning to see where his social media career takes him. Samantha Max, WNYC News.
WNYC support comes from Kashkaval Garden, a Mediterranean-inspired restaurant and wine bar located in Hell's Kitchen, serving tapas, cheese fondues, and skewers before or after the theater, with weekday lunch and weekend brunch. More at kashkaval.com/WNYC.
This is Allison Stewart, host of All of It. Did you know that you can live stream or explore archived episodes of our show for free 24/7? Download the WNYC app today at wnyc.org/app.
Marketplace Morning Report is coming up next, and then in 10 minutes at 9 o'clock, it's the BBC NewsHour on WNYC. Let's check in with London and see what they're working on. Hello, London.
Good morning, WNYC. I'm Tim Franks. On today's NewsHour, the new US-backed aid system in Gaza. Why are so many still starving and dying? That's BBC NewsHour, coming up at 9 on WNYC.
We have clouds across the area still. Where's that sun this morning? 66 and cloudy right now. Mostly cloudy on this Friday. A high of 74. What a difference compared to earlier in the week. We have 10-mile-per-hour winds today. Showers likely tonight and a thunderstorm overnight, a low of 67. Then tomorrow, Saturday, showers likely, maybe a thunderstorm. Becoming mostly sunny, though, and a high temperature as we warm up, mid-80s. And then Sunday, even warmer, mostly sunny and 87 for a high. It's 8:52.
Romance apps are having trouble getting dates.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Yubico, makers of the YubiKey, which stops phishing and hacking attempts and protects the personal and business applications people rely on. Learn more at yubico.com.
I'm David Brancaccio in Los Angeles. First, where the Senate version of the big tax and spending bill stands 1 week before the Republican self-imposed deadline of the 4th of July. Some significant pieces are getting stripped out. Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer has an update.
Republicans dropped the so-called revenge tax from the bill that would have taxed foreign companies doing business in the U.S. There were fears the tax would discourage foreign investment. It would have applied to companies from countries that impose taxes on U.S. firms, such as a digital service tax aimed at American tech giants. But the revenge tax was dropped at the request of Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. In a post on X, Bessent said the revenge tax wasn't necessary because he's worked out a global tax deal that will defend American interests. A provision in the bill on Medicaid was struck down by the Senate parliamentarian who said it violates Senate rules. The proposal would have limited the taxes states can charge healthcare providers. The taxes can boost the amount of money states get for Medicaid from the federal government. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer for Marketplace.
The White House chief economic advisor, Stephen Miron, told the news site Yahoo Finance he expects extensions past the July 9th tariff deadline for countries negotiating trade deals with the U.S. in earnest. There's news just now the Fed's preferred measure of inflation. Personal consumption expenditures went up just 2.7% in a year, but just a sliver higher than expected. This is the so-called core rate that's less volatile, the way central bankers like to read inflation. Stocks Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ futures are all up in the 3 to 4 tenths of a percent range. There are more signs the bloom is off the rose for the dating app business. Bumble says it's laying off nearly a third of its employees. Since the company's launch of its stock in 2021, the price has fallen about 90%. Marketplace's Elizabeth Troval has more on what ails the swiping for affection industry.
Millennials like BU professor Catherine Caduto remember when the apps were the shiny new thing in dating. Now, more than a decade later,
you're dating on your phone, but you're also probably working on your phone. You're ordering food and groceries. You're doing all kinds of things. And so I think that also reduces the novelty.
Caduto says people are reluctant to pay for revenue-generating dating app subscriptions that give users perks like unlimited swipes, especially when
paying for that subscription does not guarantee you dating success.
Economic uncertainty felt by younger users may also be affecting subscriptions, says sociologist Jess Carbonneau, who previously worked for Bumble.
It could be contributing potentially to how individuals feel in terms of their desirability, particularly for men.
And dating isn't cheap. Carbonneau also says the 18 to 24-year-old demographic who were key to dating apps a decade ago aren't as open to relationships these days.
There is a significant lack of engagement in romantic partnerships at younger ages.
But she says once this demographic matures, she expects they will be using dating apps to find their match. I'm Elizabeth Troval for Marketplace.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by MarketWatch. From housing prices to inflation, the market is uncertain. MarketWatch has tools to help navigate the road ahead. MarketWatch, don't short yourself. And by This Old House Radio Hour podcast, answering listeners' DIY and renovation questions and diving into home design trends, available in podcast apps.
To the use of rural land now, rolling fields of crops and or rolling fields of solar panels. What land use provides a net benefit to society, and can the two approaches coexist? Our story is from South Georgia. Emily Jones of WABE and Grist reports.
On a vast property in southwest Georgia, Tyler Huber is raising sheep. Come on, girls! It's morning, but the notorious Georgia sun has already been beating down for hours.
It is incredibly hot. The sun is just unavoidable. And the fact that they've got, shade every 15 feet out here, it's just the ideal environment to have shade so close.
Shade from solar panels, using that same relentless sunshine to generate energy. The sheep, in turn, have a job to do. They cut down on mowing costs. Huber is the site manager for Silicon Ranch, the solar developer who bought this land from several farmers. He says the flock loves chowing down on the vegetation here.
If we're able to grow this, which is just a buffet of everything they could ever want, they're going to happily eat that down.
This land used to have row crops, mostly corn and cotton, and beehives. Now, you can't grow corn and cotton under solar panels, but this is still farmland for sheep and bees. Lisa Davis with the Lee County Chamber of Commerce says that's different from what many expect when farmland gets sold or leased to solar companies.
They envision in their head that you've got these, big excavators and you just move everything out, and that is so not the case.
Solar development faced opposition in Lee County from residents and county commissioners worried about losing farmland they rely on and love. But a study found that the financial benefits to taxpayers outweigh downsides. That's because farmland gets a tax break in Georgia. Farmers pay on just 40% of their land value. But the county can collect the full 100% on land used for solar. Davis says that can make a huge difference for rural communities.
They're never going to get big manufacturers or a lot of big commercial. So the opportunity for having a solar project can mean a lot.
Loss of farmland is still a major concern. The American Farmland Trust estimates that nationwide 2,000 acres of farmland are lost to non-agricultural uses every day. But Mallory Osteen, who leads the Trust's efforts in the Southeast, says solar isn't the main culprit.
A lot of what we see in terms of farmland conversion pressure in Georgia is actually due to low-density residential development.
For many farmers, solar is a way for them to hedge their bets, a reliable way to profit from their land even when weather or disease hits their crops. In Lee County, Georgia, I'm Emily Jones for Marketplace.
Our executive producer is Nancy Fargali. Our digital team includes Antoinette Brock, Jamila Huxtable, Emily McCune, and Dylan Mietinen. Our engineers are Brian Allison and Rachel Breeze. You're listening to the Marketplace Morning Report from APM, American Public Media.
WNYC receives support from